I've come to understand that life, with all its ups and downs, needs a steady foundation. For me, that foundation is God. Through all the good times and hard times, one thing stays true. I need God, not as a last thought or something extra, but as the center of my life. His love, His kindness, and His steady presence are what my heart holds on to. In a world that changes so much, where things I remember countless seasons when I believed I could handle everything alone, I was convinced of my own strength, my own wisdom, my own ability to face life's battles on my own terms. But again and again I found myself depleted, drained, and disoriented. It took me numerous encounters with emptiness, running in circles, to finally realize that without God, I am bound to fall short. Now within my soul, I know that God is not just a desire, but a need that fuels every day, every breath, every moment of my life. Moving beyond lukewarm faith. This realization led me to confront my approach to faith. I can no longer afford to have a lukewarm relationship with God. I can't live with one foot in the world and one in the kingdom of heaven. The Bible speaks directly to this in Revelation 3:16, saying, "So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." This verse speaks to the need for commitment, urging us to live boldly and wholeheartedly for God, without hesitation or compromise. To truly live in faith, we must be all in for God, seeking Him above everything else. We are called to let go of distractions, worldly attachments, and temptations that pull us away. This commitment doesn't mean a life without challenges, but it does mean a life with purpose and a heart fully aligned with God. When we rest our hearts, minds, and souls in Him, we find a peace that is unshakable and a joy that surpasses all human understanding. The power of surrender. Surrender is a word we often avoid. Letting go of control, our plans, and our desires can feel unsettling. Yet one of the most profound lessons I've learned is the power of surrendering to God. The world teaches us to rely on independence, to pursue control, to seek security in our own capabilities. But Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Surrendering to God means acknowledging that His wisdom far surpasses ours, that His love is unchanging, and that His guidance is perfect. This surrender isn't about giving up. It's about entrusting our lives to the one who knows our path better than we do. It's a choice to believe that God's guidance is not just sufficient but perfect, and that His timing, though often mysterious, is always right. The role of prayer is the heartbeat of our relationship with God. It's through prayer that we connect, communicate, and find the strength to persevere. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in God." Prayer isn't merely a list of requests. It's a time to align our hearts with God, to seek His will, and to find comfort in His presence. In moments of trouble or doubt, prayer brings us back to the understanding that we are not alone. When we pray, we lay our burdens, our fears, and our dreams before God. And in return, He fills us with a peace that the world cannot comprehend. Prayer is not a mere routine, but a communion with the one who holds all things in His hands. Through prayer, we draw closer to God, and we are empowered to face each day with renewed faith, living with purpose and intentionality. Living for God is about living with intention. Every day, we are given choices that shape our lives and determine the depth of our walk with God. When we choose to live intentionally for Him, we align ourselves with His purposes, setting aside our own desires for something greater. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." It's easy to get caught up in daily demands and distractions, but intentionality calls us to stop, reflect, and realign our lives with God's will. It's about making choices that honor Him in the big things and the small things. In our relationships, our work, our daily interactions, God calls us to live purposefully. By dedicating our actions to Him, we bring glory to His name, making each moment a reflection of His love. Faith in action. Faith is not just something we hold internally, it's a life we live out in the world. James 2:17 tells us, "Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." This means that our faith should be evident in how we treat others, how we handle adversity, and how we represent God's love in our everyday lives. Each act of kindness, patience, and forgiveness is a reflection of God's love at work within us. God didn't just speak of love. He showed it through every action, every miracle, every moment of compassion. As His followers, we are called to mirror that love. Living out our faith means stepping beyond our comfort zones, offering grace to those who may not deserve it, and serving without expecting anything in return. Through our actions, others see God's love in us, and through our love, we fulfill His commandment, "Love your neighbor as yourself," Mark 12:31. Gratitude as a lifestyle. Gratitude is more than a simple thank you. It's a way of seeing life. When we choose to live with gratitude, we acknowledge God's hand in every blessing, every challenge, every breath. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Gratitude transforms our outlook, reminding us that even in difficulties, God is at work. Life will inevitably present trials, and sometimes it's hard to feel thankful. But gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, opening our hearts to recognize God's provision, His faithfulness, and His unchanging love. When we approach life with a heart of gratitude, we invite joy, peace, and contentment to dwell within us. Everything we have, our families, our health, our opportunities, is a gift from God. In recognizing this, we draw closer to Him, finding strength in His unwavering presence. The strength found in forgiveness. Forgiveness is challenging, yet it is central to a life of faith. God calls us to forgive others just as He has forgiven us. Colossians 3:13 reminds us, "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Forgiveness releases us from the chains of bitterness, allowing us to walk in peace. When we hold on to unforgiveness, we hold ourselves back. God asks us to forgive not only for the other person's sake, but for our own healing. Forgiveness is a journey, and each step toward it is a step toward freedom. In releasing others, we release ourselves, opening space in our hearts for God's love and grace. Trusting God through trials. Trials are inevitable, but as believers, we are promised God's presence through them all. James 1, 2-3 encourages us. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Through hardship, our faith is refined, our character is strengthened, and our reliance on God deepens. In moments of pain, it's natural to question, why me? But God uses each trial for our growth, even when we don't understand. Through these times, He teaches us to trust Him completely, to lean not on our understanding, but on His promises. When we're weak, He is strong. When we're lost, He is our guide. And when we feel like giving up, He renews our strength, drawing us closer to His heart.